Alright, I've got to just say it. Mike Israetel has been confusing me and a lot of other people for a bit of time now when it comes to his strange exercise selection, his sets taken nowhere near to failure, and all this talk about the deep stretch. A lot of what he's been preaching recently just confuses me from a common sense perspective and a practical application perspective. Mike has a PhD in sports science. He's a co-founder of Renaissance Periodization and he has a massive online presence. But in 2025, he seems more like a character and a content machine rather than an actual coach and legitimate source of information. Sure, I respect his PhD, but let's break this down in terms of practical application and not from the perspective of just a lecture hall. Let's start with intensity, or in this case, the complete lack of it. You'll see Mike do a whole lot of different exercises, finish his set with maybe about 50 reps in the tank, and then say, yeah, that's a complete set with adequate stimulus for muscle growth. Now, I compare these sets that Mike does to sets done by other big creators such as Sam Sulek, TNF, Deadlifts. When they perform these sets, you can see that they're either to failure or close enough to failure so that you know that there's no doubt in your mind that that was a quality set. Now let's talk about his bizarre exercise selection. You'll see videos of Dr. Mike performing exercises that they don't make any sense. I've seen videos of him doing elevated push-ups, completely weightless, as his main chest movement. This is a guy that has decades of experience in the gym and as a coach and has access to these elite facilities. You literally see him performing these exercises, and in the background of those videos he'll have thousands of pounds of machines that he could be using instead. Like, I understand variety is important and sometimes you should mix it up, but when there's no progressive overload, he's not even training anywhere close to failure, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I want to touch on bulking. You'll see in Mike's videos he often talks about aggressive gaining phases where he'll eat a whole bunch of extra calories and honestly just get pretty fat. And that's not an attack on Mike, he'll even joke about it himself. But why would you promote this to younger lifters who think that if they want to gain muscle, they have to gain 35 pounds of weight, when most of that, if it's done aggressively, it's just going to be pure fat with minimal muscle, and they're going to have to shred that fat off at a later stage. Like, the idea these days is that you should either take quite a slow, controlled bulk or just straight mean gain. But Mike, he just goes full strongman mode, eats a whole bunch of extra calories and just turns into a blob of mass. Looking at Mike's competition history, he's competed in bodybuilding as well as, I believe, powerlifting. But when he steps on that stage, his conditioning is just never elite, which is fine, that's cool. Mike even admits himself that he's never really at that top level on stage. But why would you place yourself as the final word on hypertrophy training when you're not at that very top level? Look, it's okay to be a scientist, it's okay to be a coach, but if you're not bringing results, high performing standards, what are you really selling or promoting? Honestly, lately looking at Mike's content and what he talks about, his information seems a lot more watered down and his videos seem a lot more focused on getting clicks and actually providing useful information that beginner lifters and intermediate lifters can actually use. If you're a beginner lifter in the gym, his information is honestly overwhelming. And if you're at that advanced stage, it's truly just underwhelming. At one point, Mike even says that he's bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. Don't even get me started on that. That clip infuriates me.
Well, I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. I'm more educated than Mike Mentzer. I know more things than Mike Mentzer.
Mike has always talked about this deep stretch and promoting it from a muscle growth perspective, but there's literal clips of him on podcasts when he's asked what happens in this deep stretch and he literally just turns around and says, yeah, well, we don't actually know what happens. So if you don't know what happens, then I don't understand why you're promoting this so much and talking about it so much if you genuinely don't understand why and how it works. Like, Am I stupid, or does that just not make any sense?
What's happening in that deep stretch?
Fuck if I know, science and shit.
You're the guy.
Yeah, look, man, we don't know all of the shit. You know what I'm saying? Put me on the spot like that. There's molecules in there and cells. God knows what else, Chris. No, so we don't actually know exactly why a stretch stimulates hypertrophy.
He's also said in the past that if you're seeing progress, then you're doing something wrong and you need to slow down. What? Like, you need to progress your lifts to stimulate muscle growth, but Mike thinks that, oh, if you're progressing too much, then something's going wrong, then you're gonna have to slow it down. You know what I mean? That is so backwards. And imagine telling a beginner in the gym that's starting out, just got his newbie gains, he's seeing his lifts go up, he's benching, 20 kg more than he did a couple months ago. No, you need to slow down, mate. That is too much progress. You're doing too well. You need to go backwards. I don't get it. I don't, unless I'm missing some context, I don't get it. Look, Mike Israetel is obviously a smart guy. I think he's funny as well. I did like his content for a long time, and I do find that, I like his humor. But in terms of the actual information he's providing, it just seems like it's drifting away slowly and slowly from what it used to be. And I just don't really understand it anymore. Maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Is Mike still a good source of information, or is he turning into more of a content guy than an actual good source of fitness information?